double.
It is not like, look, I have like face on my, like my face is on my chest, and my chest, I'm pretty sure I have eyeballs on my face.
I know, but it's like seeing double.
Is it seeing double? Do you guys think that this shirt is like seeing double?
I think it is.
Do you think this shirt is me? Maybe that is a good question too. All right, today is Tuesday. It's the Rachael and Adam Show. We are talking about a topic that Rachael knows, and I don't really know the topic yet, so we're going to spitball back and forth here a little bit. But first, before we get into it, I have gifts. All right, so the first 5 people that share this video are going to get one. This is a free pizza. Grit Jim and Marquee Pizza put a pizza together, the healthiest pizza that you can possibly imagine. I don't know, just enjoy the pizza. But it's 5 pizzas. The first 5 people to share the video get one of these, so you get a free pizza. So we're giving away free pizzas, and if you're on Instagram, you got to hop over to Facebook to do it because there's no way to share that I know of on Instagram.
Well, yeah, and if you get a pizza, or if you go to Marquee Pizza, it's the one right next to 30 Hop in the new Iowa River Landing. They also have a cheese block. What's it? A mozzarella block?
No, we're just talking about the Grit Jim pizza.
Well, okay, the Grit Jim pizza.
Don't talk about the thing that you love.
Oh, I love the pizza though too.
You only get to love Grit Jim.
I like them both.
Thanks for being here, guys. Today's Tuesday. It's Rachael and Adam Show. This is where we talk about relationships in terms of your health and how getting on the same page with your health is going to be so much easier. The other way around, where like one person wants to eat really crappy all the time, and one person, you got the joy sucker that just wants to eat the cheese block all the time. You're not the joy sucker, actually. I'm just kidding.
I want both.
Or you want to have fun with your food and you want to eat really healthy and you want to work out and you want to do stuff, and maybe not necessarily together, but just so that you're on the same page. One way is like swimming uphill or swimming uphill. It's like swimming uphill. It's like swimming upstream. And one way, when you're doing it all together, it's so much easier if you have that supportive cast around you. So anyway.
So the topic today is about, do you want to also... probably not about the float.
Oh, well, we can mention it. August 21st, you have to go onto the Grit Gym website to RSVP. We're about to send out an email on it. But anybody, you have to bring your own flotation device. And we're meeting at Hills Access in Hills, Iowa. And we're gonna float for a couple hours down to Riverside. And we'll get all organized. We're gonna meet there at 10:30 in 2 weeks on Saturday, July 21st, not August 21st. July 21st. Anyway.
Yeah.
All right, let's get into it. What's the topic?
For today is stop feeling sorry for yourself.
Oh, that's easy to say.
Well, I mean, on a greater level.
Like what? Like on a deeper level?
So on a deeper level, yes. I think that a lot of people aren't ready to acknowledge that they are in a state of feeling sorry for themselves.
So are you saying that they're like a perpetuator of their own self-victimization?
Yeah.
So they're the victim and the perpetrator all at the same time?
They've gotten to the point where it's the easy thing to do. It's the thing that gets them the most attention. It's the thing that they're good at. So they continue to do it.
Do you think they even realize that they're doing it?
That's what I'm saying. It's the sneaky thing that's easy that we all do. We all have done in our lives one time or another. It's like when you fall down and scab your knee or stub your toe and you overreact and you go, oh, kiss my boo-boo, kiss my boo-boo. It's like that was how we got attention from our parents when we were little. How we learned.
You mean some people?
Yeah.
I don't think Jen and Myron ever responded to that stuff. They were just like, get up. Janet especially, she's like, get tough or die, kid.
Yeah.
She really wasn't.
Yeah,
my mom's a sweetheart, but my mom's hardcore.
It probably never worked with you, but it transfers over to like relationships too.
In what way?
I don't know. Girls do it a lot. Girls are great at it.
I think guys do it too, just in different ways.
In different ways. I can only speak for girls.
Okay, so how do girls, what's an example of how girls do it?
They find a reason to put themselves in that, and then they can start crying, or they can point all the fingers away from them so that people feel sorry for them.
Play the blame game.
They use it a lot of different ways.
Okay, because I know guys do it. Because like that's like what else could you call jealousy? Where guys like you see a guy like I used to see this all the time in college. Guy and girl will go to the bar. One guy would get really jealous because the girl went to the bathroom and came back, and that was all it was. Or like some girl talked to another guy, or some guy said hello to the girl, and he got really jealous. And it's like there's nothing to be afraid of there, but he made up some bullshit in his head, and he's
Stop feeling sorry for yourself.
You did this. You went and talked to that guy. It's all your fault. It's like, no, that's bullshit, man. That's on you.
So what I'm trying to get at is, are all the justifications, the excuses that you are pointing your fingers at, are they getting you anywhere closer to where you want to be?
Oh, that's a good question.
So,
you mean
a common one is time. I don't have time. I don't have time. I don't have time. Is that going to ever get you more time? No.
Gotcha.
It's not going to get you more time. It's not going to propel you to your goals. If you want to have enough time, you got to make a plan to have enough time. You got to put it aside and make sure that you.
That's funny.
Hit that point. What?
Well, I'm just holding the one life planner. This is how I do it. Like what she was just talking about. This is how I do it. Where, for one, at the beginning of the day, I set my agreements that I have. So I have an agreement. I ask myself certain questions like, are you going to be all in today, or are you going to be afraid that you're not enough today? And I'm like, all right, I'm going to sit here until I am all in with me today. Like, I'm going to love myself. I'm going to do the absolute best that I possibly can today. And then I ask myself the 3 questions. Am I going to work hard to improve today? Yes. Am I going to be a positive influence to those around me? Yes. And then what is what's the third one? I don't know. Oh, yeah. Will you focus on the present priority, like right here, right now? And I have that just like right there. Like these are questions I've asked myself, the same questions for like the last 4 years, and I still forget what they are. That's why I have a checklist that I go through so I can agree to it. Yeah. And I write down my goals, write down my targets, and I flip over the page and I write down everything I'm going to do that day and when I'm going to do it. And I don't ever follow this. Amber's watching and she's probably like, yeah, he never follows that. But like I never follow this, but at least I make a plan. At least I have a plan A.
Yeah.
At least I have something. So.
Well, a lot of times not making a plan is a plan to not.
I think 100% of the time that you don't
get
make a plan,
what you want done.
Like you always make a plan. Like no matter what, either you're planning to fail or you're planning to succeed. Which one are you going to lead to? I don't want to ride on the default. Yeah.
Well, and letting yourself get distracted and doing the things that you want right now that are easy, it's straying away from. Time isn't about choosing what you want, like, in the present right now. It's like, you have to make a decision, like, what do you want most? Mm-hmm. Like, is the end
That's
goal...
what I was going to say about distraction. I think distraction is just an excuse to keep you from what you actually want most.
Yeah, it might be easy. It might be, like, say, it's easy to fall asleep and take a nap, but, like...
To you.
The end goal at the end of the day is I want to get all my work done. I want to spend some time with my family. I want to be able to have time to make dinner for my family. If you take that nap, it kind of sets it all into
or it
chaos.
Could. Like, yeah, I mean...
That's just an example. Like,
right.
My thing is like giving into what you want right now in that moment.
So right now you're talking about the difference between like immediate satisfaction versus delayed gratification.
Yes.
Like delayed gratification is really a powerful thing. I think that everybody can
it's more powerful if you use it in that way.
I knew this girl up in Minneapolis was sitting in a sauna and she was telling about us. I worked at a big box gym up in Minneapolis. For a year, and it really sucks. But she was sitting in a sauna, and there was this wrestler in there, and he was looking at the clock, and he's like, I got to make it to 20 seconds. I got to make it to 20 seconds. It was like everything he had to make it to that 20-second mark of that clock. And then he, like, as soon as it hit that 20-second mark, he busted out of the sauna and jumped in the pool. And it was like everything he had to discipline himself to make it to that 20 seconds. And this girl, like, in her life, she was not successful at all. Like, she was kind of I would call like a weak-minded person. Nothing against her, she's fine, she's got a really great personality and everything, but she was like, why didn't he just get out at 10 seconds? Why did he wait that long? What was that last 2 seconds going to matter? I'm like, well, to most people that's not going to matter at all, but that 10 seconds he gained so much power. Like, he found out how much more power he has over himself than he knew before. So that he delayed gratification to go jump into the pool.
It wasn't about the extra 10 seconds in the sauna.
Right.
it wasn't that about that
It was
at all.
about
It was
pushing
about
himself.
the mental toughness that he gained
Right.
from that. Like, he walked away maybe being a little bit more tired because he sat in that sauna, but like, he walked away with the ability to know that he can do things even though they're so tough and so, like, I mean, who wants to sit in a sauna for
However
couple
long
hours.
he was
Yeah.
in the sauna, yeah.
But he used it as a tool, as an exercise to push himself and
mental
not use the
toughness.
excuse of, oh, I'm so sweaty. Like, that's not what the point is.
He went to a point of discomfort and he stayed there. And that's an example of delayed gratification. It's very powerful. I don't know what that did for the rest of his life, but I would imagine that he gained a great deal from that. And they actually did a study about this. They put kids in a room with I forget, there might have just been one marshmallow or one piece of chocolate or something that a kid would like to eat. And they set it down and they said, do not touch this. Like, no matter what, do not touch this. I'm going to leave the room for 5 minutes and I'll be back. And they left the room for 5 minutes, came back after 5 minutes, and they had like a double wall glass or whatever, and they saw the kids. And the kids who didn't touch it, they then said, go ahead and have it now, you can have it. And some kids would eat it and some kids didn't. And then they watched them for the next couple of years. Like, they kept up on their grades and all this other stuff and really looked into these kids. And they found that the kids who didn't eat the chocolate or the marshmallow or whatever it was drastically outpaced all the other kids in their extracurriculars and in their...
So are they saying they're
their
naturally
studies.
tough and, like, they're more likely to...
Something about that delayed gratification, that it was only like, it was a short period of time. I don't even think it was 5 minutes. It might have been 1 minute. But anyway,
To a
something
little
about...
kid, that's forever.
But something about, there's a correlation there of something. Like, these kids that can hold out longer and not feed into the immediate satisfaction thing did better throughout their life, throughout the next couple of years.
Yeah.
It was kind of cool.
So, like, another kind of excuse that I was thinking of is the fear.
Fear?
The fear.
Okay.
Like, labeling us as having anxiety over something.
You mean like
You know
that?
what I mean?
Like, that thing gives me anxiety. Like,
Yeah.
okay.
So I wanna do this, but I can't because...
Use public speaking. That's the one that...
Oh, the public speaking,
Yeah.
or like being in social situations.
How about this?
What?
First time you were ever on this show, you're like, I don't know, like, you remember that? Because we were having
Yeah.
breakfast, and you're like, I don't know how you do that every day. I could never. I'm like, you're coming on the show today.
And I knew he wasn't kidding, so I had to
And she did it.
face the fear.
Yeah. And it wasn't, are you less scared now? Or are you just more courageous now?
Both.
See, I don't know. I still get scared to go on these shows. I don't think I'm less scared. I just think I'm more brave.
You're less scared because you've done it over and over and over again. So
Yeah, but I think the fear is still there. Like, I still get
saying
scared.
I'm not saying there's no fear at all.
Right.
I'm just saying the fear is just like a dull. Before it was like, okay, like
know.
all over body.
But now but then you did the scary thing and you got a bunch of courage. And then you did the scary thing and you got a bunch of courage. And then you did the scary thing and you got a bunch of courage. And you kept on growing that courage and courage over and over again. You got more and more and more and more brave because you did the scary thing. And pretty soon it doesn't seem like that big of a deal.
No.
Yeah.
Well-
But like public speaking though, people make that plan. They're like, man, I get such social anxiety, or I get so much anxiety even thinking about public speaking. Well, you just made a plan to
They
get
just
anxious.
made the excuse is the plan.
Well, yeah, and the plan is the excuse, right?
Yeah. I mean, we could all say like, oh, I want to be a better parent. I want to be a better, better in social situations. I want my business to grow.
I want to be a better lover. I want to be a better...
All of it. But
professional.
when you follow it up with a but, that's the plan. The plan is to not do it at all.
Ooh. Like what?
I don't know. Like,
I want to do public speaking, but
I'm not good enough, or I've never done it before.
Or I get scared.
Or I get scared.
I'm not good at public speaking.
And this could be like the smallest, tiniest little thing. It's not about like going out there, and we're not saying go out there and be a public speaker. Saying like, oh, walk up to that person that you see in a cafeteria and start a conversation. Or
that's a fun one.
Like, even small things like saying
it's
hi
not fun
to.
at all, actually.
Well, it depends on who you are.
I hate it, but I do it.
Yeah. But I mean, everything's an exercise too. If you look at it like that, like if every time you went up to an obstacle that you usually just ignore, you've gotten more courageous and you've gotten more.
What if it's a little thing that you never even think about, like doing the dishes?
That's the same thing. If you don't want to do the dishes, then either pay someone to do it, or just do it.
But this is one of those things, though. Like I really do think, like,
I don't think anybody's afraid of doing dishes.
No, neither do I. But how do you account for them not doing their dishes? Just a lack of discipline.
You're giving into something. You're giving into, like, you're making an excuse not to do it.
Yeah. So are you giving into a fear? Like, I just really, or you're dreading doing the dishes. Like, I don't like doing the dishes either, but if I sit there and dread doing them for 2 hours, I just wasted 2 hours, where if I would have just done them in 30 seconds.
I think that's a sneaky thing. If you were to tell somebody, you're making an excuse, you're being a victim right now, they'd be like, what are you talking about? Like, you're dumb, You're dumb. But really, it's sneaky. That's how it starts. It's a slippery slope of little justifications and excuses that bring you to that point. You know what I mean? Like, that could be the start of it.
Doing the dishes?
Say getting up in the morning. If your priority is to make your bed and you don't make your bed, then you've just started a whole snowball of excuses and justifications not to do other things.
Yeah, that's why you always want to get a win first thing in the morning.
Kind of like a diet. A diet is a great example because a lot of people use, okay, well, it's I forgot to eat breakfast at home, so I'm going to stop through the drive-thru. So then, like, later on at lunch, you're like, oh, I feel crappy. I'm super hungry. But, I mean, I already ruined my diet, so I might as well just go. Like, you see what I mean? Like, it kind of snowballs. Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, I think you're spot on. Because, like, you can just restart it if you want.
Okay.
Because you get stuck in a loop. Like, if you wake up, like, I'm always looking for the first win, and usually the first win for me is to go get a workout. So the first thing that I'm going to do, like, basically one of the first things I'm going to do is I'm going to get my body moving. I want to command my space, and my initial space is my body. It's my vehicle that's taking me through this life, right? So now we're almost getting into, like, the spiritual Adam versus the physical Adam, but still, like, I want to command my body. I want to be like, my body doesn't want to go work out. I don't really want to go work out. I'm going to force it to go get its energy up and expend some energy and burn off some steam so that I can push out into the rest of my day that much more. It's a win to go get that workout. It's a win to eat breakfast. It's a win to do the dishes right away. It's a win to make your bed. It's a win to I don't know what other than the next. I want to stack wins. Yeah. If I get used to winning, that's pretty decent space to play in. I think we can all agree.
Well, let's say you fight the instinct to give in to certain things throughout the day. So say 5 different times you did something you knew you should do, but you didn't really feel like you wanted to. Like, make your bed, wash your face.
That's a funny one.
Eat well in the morning. Like, think of how those would multiply throughout the week, throughout the month, throughout the year.
The whole "but I don't want to" thing doesn't resonate with me at all. Like, I don't totally understand.
You don't feel like it. It's like when people are like, I don't feel motivated. I don't feel motivated to go and work out at 8:30 in the morning, but I did because I told myself, like, every day, every Tuesday, every Thursday, I'm gonna wake up at this time and I'm gonna work out. Like, I haven't made it an option to feel like.
Yeah, you're committed.
You know
you didn't give yourself another option. Just like if you're in a relationship and you're in a committed relationship, there are no other options. This is it.
Yeah.
But
how often do you feel like working out?
See, that's the motivation thing. So motivation, it goes one of two ways for me. Either I am just constantly motivated, or I am never motivated. You know what I mean? Either I'm just, like, constantly motivated and every once in a while I'm not so motivated, or I am just never motivated, hardly ever motivated, and then, like, every 3 months I feel really motivated. It's one way or the other. I don't really know where it is. Like, I just have things that I need to get done.
Yeah.
It's not about motivation. Like, I do stuff I don't want to do all the time. I mean,
That's
all the time.
Motivation is kind of a tricky word because it's like
it's a bullshit
who
word.
like people think that it's like a sudden feeling that comes over you that's gonna like make you work harder. Like it's not. It's on the back end. On the back end, your goal is if your goal is to lose 20 pounds, then that is what you're looking at. You're not looking at today. You're not looking at like, oh, well, I don't feel like working out. I don't feel like eating well. So, but if you're like, well, I don't feel like it, but this is where I want to get, that's what motivation is.
Yeah. And there's something in there about the clarity of where you're going. We were talking about that this morning, right? Like, so let's say, like we have a friend who his main his everything motivation in life is about being free.
Okay, yeah.
However, he doesn't get super clear. Like we have discussions about this. He doesn't get super clear on what it means to be free. Like, what's freedom mean to you? Does freedom mean taking orders because then you don't have the responsibility of of the order? Does freedom mean that you can do whatever you want whenever you want? Does freedom mean that you're a joyful, powerful, lovable person and you are the only person that has influence over you? What does freedom mean to you? So you got to get really, really clear on what you want, and then that's where I think that you pull that motivation out and you just set it aside and you're like, it doesn't matter to me. Like really, if we're asking which way do I go, like either I'm always motivated and every once in a while I don't feel motivated, or I'm never motivated and every once in a while I feel motivated. I think I'm hardly ever motivated. I just do it, whether I like it or not.
So if you give in and you continue to tell yourself, I'm never motivated, that becomes your truth.
It becomes your plan.
And your plan.
Yeah.
So I wrote down what he said, like something that he said, if you can't challenge your truth, then you'll never be free.
Yeah.
Because if you can't say...
Your fear-based truths. Fear-based truths would be like the things that you hold super, like to you, they are so, they're as true as the sky is blue. They'd be like saying that this shirt isn't gray, that this shirt is white. To certain people, you could tell them X and they would always think like, no, Y. Because they never... challenge the truth that they have in their head to gain another perspective around what that could be. It's just automatic in their brain.
It's like people who say, "Oh, I'm really bad at this. I'm really bad at this." They continue. What's an example?
I don't have time. I get anxious.
I'm not an exercise person. I don't have endurance. I can't do chin-ups. Something like that. They've continually told themselves that to the point where they won't ever try.
They believe the story so much so that they will actually...
It's a truth.
They will actually, if they can't sabotage themselves, they'll ask other people to do it for them.
Yeah.
Because it's so true to them that they'll actually make it true in their life. Fear-based truths are an amazing thing.
That's why I say it's sneaky.
Watch.
Because it's something that you've told yourself so many times that you, like, the ability to even see past that is just absolutely out of this world. Like,
I need attention.
Could never happen.
I need attention is one that is an example. So I've known people in my life that they need attention so much, and they know they need attention, but they're like, if you ask them, they'd be like, no, I don't need that much attention. I'm independent. No, they will actually, like, we've seen them in the gym too. They will do things that they know are screwed up, and they'll screw up their form. They'll re-rack their weights a dozen times, and you'll watch them over in the corner, and you know what's going on, and you know that, and they'll look over at you, and they'll be like, what's going on? Like, why is that? And they'll keep on rolling around and doing their thing. And it's all to try to, and they're screwing up something that they know how to do, just so that you will come and talk to them and give them attention.
And there's nothing wrong with that. It's
nothing.
Just they haven't developed the ability to
their truth that they don't even know that they're doing.
Do it authentically. They've gotten really good. I mean, girls do this all the time. They get really good at putting themselves in that victim state so that they get love and attention. And someone listens to them.
I don't know if I'd call that love, but yeah.
But I'm just saying that's to them. That's like it's a lot of young girls do it because they haven't really explored
this
their
can
ability
sound-
to be like significant to somebody else.
This can sound really judgmental too.
It is super
we're saying
judgmental,
that we're
but
better.
I've done it. You've
I've
done
done
it. Everybody does it. I do it probably every single day.
It's extremely normal.
It's so normal.
And what we're talking about by challenging the truth, like that norm is something that almost all of us have until all of us have it until we start challenging it. And once we start challenging it, and we do that through there's a bunch of different ways that we do that. But once we start challenging it and acknowledging it,
then you can go back to the core and figure it out.
Then we can become free of that truth, and then we can negotiate whether we're actually going to live that way or not.
Well, I mean, I find it can anybody find a reason why putting yourself in that state of mind is going to propel you to being a better version of yourself?
Yeah, no kidding.
Like saying, going into the back room and crying and moping and feeling sorry for yourself is it's not a good influence on your kids. It doesn't help your state of mind. Mm-hmm. It doesn't put you in a higher level of thinking. It just takes you to a place there's nothing wrong with sitting there and crying for a couple of minutes, but then you have to kind of use that.
At some point, you got to pick yourself up.
Don't give your power to the excuse.
Yeah, Janet used to say.
Don't give it to that.
Janet used to if you were playing that game, she used to come in and she'd be like, "We're not doing this. Get up, let's go."
That's a good way.
Janet's
when you're
my mom.
a kid, it's kind of hard to understand why she did that, but it's a powerful thing. It's you can feel sorry and you can feel sad in the moment because maybe you skinned your knee. But to stay there and then to...
That's the thing of the errors, though. So okay, so just to go back a little bit, joyful, on one side you got joy, love, power. So I'm a joyful, powerful, lovable person. On the other side, you have that fear-based truth of anxiety, anger, guilt. Those are basically your fear-based truths. And anytime you go to those are an error. So you let's say to get attention you scraped your knee. Well, that would be an error, right? And so it's sitting there and moping about it. So then you mope about it, and did moping about it make it feel any better? Did it make your life any better? Did it?
No.
And I think that's where you ask
yourself,
yourself,
made you weaker.
Is it serving you?
It's not serving you.
Yeah.
I mean, you might get attention for a couple minutes, but what kind of attention do you want? Don't you want attention, or don't you want the power of pushing through it and coming out the other end and being stronger for it?
See, now you're getting into some of that responsibility stuff. And I know people don't like it when I talk about responsibility because people don't want to own up to it, but because it's tough. It's really, really tough to sit there and be to think about all the ways that you want to take responsibility over your life. It's really easy to sit there and be like, no, I take full responsibility for my life. And until your significant other comes home from work and they're pissed off at everything that you do, and then you get mad at them for it, that's not taking responsibility. That's letting someone else's emotions bleed into and infect you. And it's actually not even that. It's you doing it to yourself. And now you're doing it to yourself. So that's not responsible.
No.
Anyway.
Yeah. I think if you try to start to identify and learn those sneaky things that we do, then you can, it bleeds into other things.
I think so too. When you start questioning, that's why I think curiosity is just this massive importance. You get curious about how you live your life. You get curious about the decisions that you do make and why you made them and based on what. And you get curious about the different perspectives that are out in the world. And you get curious about why we do what we do and why you do what you do and why you might get upset about XYZ but not upset about this or that. How you interact with other people. You start getting really, really curious about everything. And all of a sudden, you start, questions come up. And when the question comes up, it's well, now I have options. And those options, you might not, I know that for me, I didn't even know that I didn't know that those options existed. I was completely ignorant to them.
If you look at it kind of as a trial and error kind of thing, if every time you went straight for I'm going to play it the easy way, and you never learned to find your own path, the trial and error,
Okay.
So if I decide that I'm just going to shut down every time an anxious situation happens, and I'm going to say, oh, it's anxiety.
Oh, you
well,
start playing
then
that, you're blaming it on the anxiety?
I'm blaming it on the anxiety.
Yeah.
I'm not taking the power and like fighting the instinct of the anxiety. Like I can see it coming on. Like I know that this situation is going to give me anxiety and this, and this.
But it
like,
didn't give you anxiety. Who gave you anxiety?
I did.
Yeah.
I have to see that obstacle, and I have to figure out there could be 100 different ways to to figure out the scenario. I have to try those different ways before I say it's the anxiety. If it's the anxiety and I get vertigo and I pass out, like, okay, maybe there's something wrong. But like if I've never attempted to figure it out, then I can't blame it on the anxiety.
Yeah.
At that point, it's just me giving in to a feeling.
So, like, where do we get into the pharmaceutical debate then? Because somebody's going to pop on here and be like, I have a medical problem.
I think that's for a different discussion.
I do too, but it's still there. Like I definitely think if you, like, for instance, if you feel like pulling your car into oncoming traffic when you go off of your medication, it's probably a good idea to stay on your medication, right? But I think there is something in, for one, we don't know much about this. Doctors can try to compel you to think that they know so much about this shit. No, they don't. But I think if you take the pill versus confronting the beast without the pill, like if you think of it like how far you could go. Let's use like, so I take the pill, I can only go to here. My bravery can only go to there. But if I don't take the pill and I challenge this thing, I think that there's like this higher level that I can possibly go.
Well,
but it takes a ton of courage to push forward to
I think we can do way more than we think we can do.
Well, yeah.
Like,
that's pretty easy. I mean, think back 10 years. 10 years ago, think to a moment 10 years ago that, and all of you do this, and I think you could do this too. I do this on a regular basis. Like, think back to 10 years ago. I was 23 years old. What could I have done better back then? Well, I could have done this and 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 this. Well, in 10 years, you're going to think the exact same thing about right now. So you know that you can do more right now, so why not do more right now?
It's about starting small and kind of letting it become a lifestyle. Like, you can't just think that it's going to naturally happen.
Like
yeah, you can't just...
Like tie your shoes, do the dishes, make your bed, clean your room, go work out every day.
Yeah.
Don't eat like an asshole.
Like people that look like they have it all together and like have a amazing routine. They have I don't know. Those were built on habits, or those habits were built on like confronting the small stuff.
I think both of those are accurate.
What?
Like, I think they built a habit, and they built a habit out of discipline by doing the little tiny things. It makes
the bigger thing a lot easier.
I think you just made a continuum.
Like it never came easy to them. They just worked at it. And they actually acknowledged that there was something wrong, and they confronted it and decided to make a change.
Yeah.
If you want to make a change, then you have to acknowledge that there's something wrong. Something that you don't like.
Yeah. You really do.
Okay, I think we're done.
No, I think that you're onto something there. Like, really, really good. You can't actually do any. If you make an error, and this is one of the problems I have with people. I don't let little kids apologize to me. Adults, I don't like always want to get into the discussion with them because it's just ridiculous. But with little kids, if they try to apologize to me, I'm like, don't apologize to me. I don't want the power to have to forgive you. But I am interested in what you've learned. What did you learn? And they look at me like, with this blank stare, like I'm the craziest adult in the world. But I don't care that they're sorry. I don't want to forgive them. Most of the time they didn't do anything wrong anyway. What did they learn? Because if you're going to say sorry, then you must have made an error. Okay, what's the error? All right. Well, okay, now we've got the error. Now what did we learn from that error? Because if you're going to make an error, you better walk away from it with something. I don't want to do anything and get nothing from it. Like, I want something. So what's the error? All right, I got the error. What did I learn from it? Okay. Now, if I learn something from it, am I more or less likely? Is it more or less likely for that error to happen again?
Less.
Way, way less. And so then I can move on, and that error is probably not going to happen again. But if I just said, "Oh, sorry," that error is going to happen over and over and over and again because you never.
It kind of comes back to the topic. It's stop feeling sorry for yourself. Like, why are you feeling sorry for yourself? Why are you in that position?
I keep thinking of wrestling for some reason. Like, every time that you've said this, I just like...
What?
Well, like, I didn't win every single wrestling match that I ever had.
Yeah.
And I would lose. Losing in wrestling sucks so bad. It's nothing like any other sport. I mean, it's this terrible emotional thing. It's, like I say, terrible, even though I consider it the greatest of greatest
Because
sports.
you only have yourself to blame.
You only have yourself to blame. It's like very much this dominance thing. It's just you and another person out there, and really it's just you against yourself. And it's just this very much a battle of emotions that little kids have to go through, and you're not really equipped for it. And that goes back to the whole, you're never ready. You just do. But there's like all these things going on with wrestling, and there were so many matches where I got done, and I just like, it kills you inside to lose. And I get done, but I lost a lot. In the first 4 years of wrestling, I only won 5 matches. In the next 5 years of wrestling, I basically lost 5 matches. I won almost all of them, but some things kind of clicked. But like, that feeling sorry for yourself after the match, it doesn't help you win the next match.
No.
Like, you feel so, like you lose, and I used to just sit there and I'd just like mull over it, and I could never get myself out of that match. So when I would go to the next match, I was still back in the match beforehand, but I can't do anything about the match beforehand because it's already done.
Yeah, you gotta.
If I would have acknowledged the errors I made, learned from that match, moved on so that I could be present in the next match, I could have wrestled better. And I think you can do that in everything in life, like cooperative or competitive scenarios. I think you can do that. I don't think that sports are like life. That's a ridiculous statement, but I do think that this is an example.
Well, identify
of what
what the errors were. If it made it super duper simple and took all the feelings out of it, and say you made 3 errors, and then you came back the next time and you didn't make those 3 errors, you're way more likely to win that match. If you take out all the feelings as well, it just adds in more.
Happy to hear you say that.
What?
Well, Rachel's much more of a feeler, and I'm much more of a thinker.
I'm a feeler.
But like, and it's hard for people who tend to be more towards that, like they feel stuff rather than think. Like an analyzed person, like I sound like a pragmatic asshole sometimes, but it's like take the emotions out of it and look at this thing from a very like, it's understandable to be hurt after, or to have that negative feeling inside after you lose. Like, I hate losing, I hate it, but at the same time, it's not going to help me win the next thing. So what are the errors? How can we improve upon it so that we can win the next one? Like, take the emotion out of it.
Win in life.
Win the day, win the minute.
Win the day, yeah.
Yeah, stack the wins. What do we call this one? Stacking wins? Is that what you have? Is that all you got?
Yep.
That's what that sounded like, didn't it? It's not what I meant it to be. But anyway, it's your topic today. You close us out.
Okay, so if you guys, the first 5 shares.
Yep, first 5 shares.
You get a free Marquee pizza.
You get a free pizza at Marquee.
And their pizza's really good.
Yeah. And
like, if you haven't been there,
there's
go.
a special pizza this month.
It's so good.
The Grit Gem Pizza. And
it has grits on it, and it's so good.
It actually is delicious.
Yeah. But 5 shares, or first 5 shares, and you get pizza.
Yeah, so I'm going to literally give you a free pizza for sharing the video. So put it out there.
So.
5.
Or, yeah, you can like too. But you only get a pizza if you share. But yeah, is that all?
Sure, yeah.
All right. Bye, guys. Go win the day.
Thanks for being here, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.